ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेष भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तेर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, text number 3 and 4. Deva uchuhu tamaha etad vibho veta tama etad vibho veta samvigna yad vayam brusham samvigna yad vayam brusham na hi avyaktam bhagavataha nahi avyaktam bhagavataha kalena asprishta vartmanaha kalena asprishta vartmanaha deva uchuhu tama etad vibho veta samvignayad vrayam vrisham nahi avyaktam bhagavataha kalena sprishta vartmanaha deva uchuhu tama etad vibho veta samvignayad vrayam vrisham nahi avyaktam bhagavataha kalena sprishta vartmanaha. Deva uchuhu, the demigod said, Tamaha, darkness, etat, this, vibho, O great one, veta, you know, samvignaha, very anxious, yat, because, vayam, we, brisham, very much, na, not, he, because avyaktam, unmanifest, bhagavataha, of you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, khalena, by time, asprishta, untouched, vartmanaha, whose way? Translation and purport by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. The fortunate demigod said, O great one, just see this darkness, which you know very well and which is causing us anxieties. Because the influence of time cannot touch you, there is nothing unmanifest before you. Please repeat the translation. The fortunate demigod said, O great one, just see this darkness, which you know very well and which is causing us anxieties. Because the influence of time cannot touch you, there is nothing unmanifest before you. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Brahma is addressed herein as Vibhu and as a personality of Godhead. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead's incarnation of the mode of passion in the material world. He is non-different in the representative sense from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore Brahma, and therefore the influence of time cannot affect him. The influence of time, which manifests as past, present and future, cannot touch higher personalities like Brahma and other demigods. Sometimes demigods and great sages who have attained such perfection are called Trikalajnaha. Next verse, I'll recite myself. Deva Deva Jagadhatur Lokanata Shikamane paresham aparesham tvam bhutanam asi bhavaved. O God of the demigods, sustainer of the universe, a head jewel of all the demigods in other planets, you know the intentions of all living entities in both the spiritual and material worlds. Purport. Because Brahma is almost on an equal footing with the personality of Godhead, he is addressed here as a god of demigods. And because he is the secondary creator of this universe, he is addressed as the sustainer of the universe. He is the head of all demigods, and therefore he is addressed here as the head jewel of the demigods. It is not difficult for him to understand everything which is happening in the both spiritual and material worlds. He knows everyone's heart and everyone's intentions. Therefore, he was requested to explain this incident. Why was the pregnancy of Diti causing such anxieties all over the universe? Doesn't the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanati Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namavom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gauravaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the impact of pregnancy of Diti, how the universe is experiencing it, how the demigods are suffering in that process. So they are full of anxiety. So they want to know the reason. So they had approached Lord Brahma for clarity. So in the next 6 verses from 3 to 8, they address Brahma on an equal footing with the Supreme Personality of God. Because Brahma, being in the Parampara system, a pure devotee, a great Acharya, and he is in charge of this universe, in creation, and in administration, he is supporting the Lord in executing the Lord's activities. So, because he would be aware with the Lord's pastimes and material world perspectives, so they are addressing him as a representative of the Lord. So that's what Prabhupada clarified in the universe. So here it is said, Deva Ujuhu, the demigods are praying to Lord Brahma. Tama etad vibho veta. O great one Vibho, Tvama etad vetaha. You know what is the cause of this darkness. Tamaha, ignorance. Samvignayat vayam brisham. Because of this tamaha, we have become samvignaha. What is it that? We became full of anxiety. Is it normal anxiety? Brisham, very severe anxiety it is. We call it as hypertension outside world. English terminology, anxiety. When it comes to the higher level, it is called as hypertension. So it has come to that level for us, that it is unbearable for us. To that capacity it has come. Nahi avyaktam bhagavataha. So nothing is unmanifest before you. You know everything. So what is happening, why it is happening, what might be the cause, who has to suffer. So you are clear about this subject. Nothing is unmanifest. Means everything is clear in your understanding. Kalena asprishta vartmanaha. And time, the influence of time does not touch upon you. So that's why influence of time does not touch upon you means you are trikalajnaha. You know past, you know present, you know future. So because of this, you will be able to perceive all the things, what is happening, what might be the cause and what will be the result. So in that context, time cannot touch you. It is mentioned here in the translation here. So in the purport, Prabhupada explains how the influence of time cannot touch Brahma. So Brahma is addressed as Vibhu, a representative of the Lord's mode of passion, and therefore the influence of time cannot affect upon him. So what will time do? What will influence of time do? How it will influence us? So what time influences with fear? So if somebody comes and says, in 1 week, we are going to die, what will be our response? So we'll be fearful. We don't want to face the situation. So Brahma knows about his perspective. His scheduled time. So Influence of time cannot touch, it means he is not fearful for that situation. The time cannot create fear in his understanding. So how to become fearless? How can we come to that stage like Brahma, where we are also very fearless in the approach in the devotional service? Next, the influence of time which manifests as past, present and future cannot touch higher personalities like Brahma and other demigods. So there are very few devotees who are very sincere and serious, who are doing the administrative roles. So they will not feel the influence of time. The next verse says, they are continuing their prayers by saying, Deva Deva Jagat Thatur Lokanatha Shikamani. Deva Deva, you are the God of the demigods, you are the master of the demigods. Jagat Dhatuhu. So Supreme Lord creates the basic elements, you create the secondary creator. So what is Brahma doing there? Elements are there, living entities are there, planets are there. He is assigning who has to go where. As per their karma, you take birth in the higher planets, you take birth in the lower planets, you occupy here, like that he is reassigning. We have 50 devotees, how DC department allocates the service, like that Brahma is allocating who has to go where, when, how. He is planning the activities of the Lord, he is planning the incarnations of the Lord, scheduled incarnations, like that. He is assigning the services. Next, Lokanatha Shikamane. You are the head jewel of all the demigods and all the in charges of other planets. There are many administrative demigods, and you are the master of the administrative demigods. You are the superior of head jewel, means you are the prime personality in the administrative demigod section. Paresham aparesham tvam. In the spiritual world, paresham aparesham in the material world. Bhutana masi bhavavit. You know what is their intentions, what is going on in the spiritual world. Because you are a pure devotee, you are in constant touch with the Lord. Lord as Paramatma inspires you with that knowledge. So when devotees when they are pure in nature, then Lord reciprocates to them. They follow the guidance of the Paramatma continuously. They will not think anything independently. They always be the obedient servants of the Super Soul. Because constant guidance they take from the Lord. So because Brahma is on an equal footing with the Lord, he is addressed here with various personalities like Deva Deva, Jagat Dhatuhu, Lokanatha, Shikamane. So it is not difficult for him to understand everything which is happening in the both and spiritual material worlds. He knows everyone's heart and everyone's intentions, therefore he was requested to explain the incident. So how he knows everyone's heart, everyone's intentions? The Paramatma in their heart will update him. Yes, this is what he is thinking, this is what his intention is. Because Paramatma is one Paramatma who is there in everyone's heart. Because Brahma is in the pure consciousness, he is able to communicate with Paramatma. Paramatma is able to communicate with him and reveal that knowledge, what is happening in others' heart or others' mind and others' intentions. So the first point we'll understand why the influence of time cannot address devotees, cannot influence devotees. See, in Bhagavatam, one place, in the second canto, in devotional perspective, it explains, Ayu harati vai pumsam, Udayan astamam cha yan asau, Tasyarte yat kshano nita, Uttama shloka vartaya. See, every sunrise and sunset, we all will be going on. Simply we think, oh, sun is rising, sun is set, one day is finished. But what is that sunrise and sunset doing to us? It is taking away one day of our life from our opportunity. So we are, as the days goes on, we are progressing towards the death. Like generally we all say, we are celebrating our birthday. Are we celebrating our birthday? Are we moving closer to our death day? We have 100 years. Oh, now I am 50 years old, means 50 is gone, only 50 is left for you. It is reminding you, it is time now, awaken. But we are all engrossed. I am thinking, oh, 50 years I have gloriously lived. So what is sun doing? It fight the power of time by discussing the topics of all glorious personality of God. It is saying, Uttama shloka vartaya. So by discussing about Krishna Katha, by topics about the Lord, by every sunrise and every sunset, Udayan astamam yan Ayur harati vai pumsam. Every living entity is losing, is decreasing his duration of life. With sunrise and sunset, we are losing our duration of life. But for devotees, sunrise and sunset cannot impact upon them. Because here they will be engaging in devotional service. Once they quit this body, they will be engaging in devotional service wherever they are there. So what can sun deprive them of? It cannot deprive them of their material resource, like their devotion service to the Lord. But for karmis to devotees, how is the difference? So whatever karmis are enjoying, other non-devotees are enjoying, time will take it away from them. I may have huge empire, huge appliances. Next moment, if I die, everything is gone from me. But for the devotees, they are engaged in the service of the Lord. Wherever they are there, they will continue that engagement. So what can sun do? It cannot do anything for them. So in that way, the sunrise and sunset cannot influence the devotees. That's what Bhagavatam perspective is for us. And in the purport, Prabhupada explains that transcendental topics are like intravenous injections of highly potent drug. They act very rapidly. So what does these transcendental topics, they get into us, they excite us, they bring out all the unwanted things outside and they purify us. They bring us to the transcendental stage. So we become elevated from this material perspective. So one more place also, this is in the first canto, Vidura, when he came back to Hastinapura to preach to his brother Dhritarashtra, at that time also he says about time, the nature of time, he says, Ena chaivabi pannoyam pranay priyatame rapi janas sadyo viyujyeta kim utanyer dhanadibihi. So, time forces everyone to surrender everything. This is the principle. What does time do? It will simply make us surrender everything. Willingly you surrender or forcefully you surrender. But most of the time it is only forceful surrender. Willingly nobody wants to surrender. Like api janaha, a person, whoever is there, of abhipannaha, who is under the influence of kalaha, ena abhipannaha, who is under the influence of kala, supreme kala. So, sadyo viyujyeta, he must surrender. Sadhyaha, he has to immediately surrender to kala. Time comes and says, your time is over now. The kala says, the scheduled time of your life is over. You cannot say 1 second can you extend. No. 1 second, not possible. When it says done, you have to quit everything. Suddenly you have to quit. Whatever we are doing, we have to abruptly stop everything. Because pranair priyatamaihi, for everyone, their life is most dear thing. Then, kimanyai dhanadibihi, what to speak of other things such as wealth, honor, children, land and home. If I am supposed to quit all my life itself, which is very dear to me, what to speak of other insignificant things. So I may have to quit them also. So time makes us surrender forcefully. So, how do we understand this? When it is creating so much anxiety for us, how to become fearless in this material world? So, Prabhupada in various purports has given around 20 points how to become fearless. This is only in some partial purports I had studied. So, what is this fearlessness means? In various dimensions, he presents this fearlessness. So, a devotee of the Lord is always fearless because of the protection given by the Lord. Like a child, when he knows his father is there, next to him, he does not bother for anyone, everyone. He goes like a lion, he goes in front of everyone. He demands, commands, because he knows his father is behind him. So for a devotee also, when he is protected by the Lord, when he is assured by the Lord, so he is very fearless. He becomes very fearless. Next, the Lord is the only shelter of fearlessness for the surrendered soul. So if you have to become fearless, we have to surrender to the Lord. Bhagavatam gives the right knowledge of one's own self. And by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, one can become free from all material attachment and enter into the kingdom of fearlessness. So Lord gave us some opportunities to become fearless. One that opportunity is Srimad Bhagavatam. When you associate with Bhagavatam, when you hear Srimad Bhagavatam, we become free from all these material contaminations. And we become qualified to enter into the spiritual world, which is known as Vaikunta, where there is no anxiety, where it is full of no fearlessness. So that's why we enter into the kingdom of fearlessness. Then, Lord Krishna was provided with all kinds of comforts and facilities available within the universe by the members of Yadu dynasty. And in return, such servitors of the Lord were protected and fearless. So, by serving the Lord, his devotees, with all the possible facilities and activities, the devotees who have surrendered to the Lord have become protected by the Lord and they have become fearless in this endeavor. The stage of complete independence from everything is also called the purified stage of fearlessness. Everyone can become fearless and honest person if his very existence is purified by discharging the prescribed duty for each and every order of life. By following one's respective prescribed duties, by engaging in devotional service, we can become fearless. In the material world, there is always anxiety or fearfulness in the heart of all living entities. But the Lord, who is the supreme fearless, awards the same quality of fearlessness into his pure devotees. We develop all the good qualities of the Lord. So one of the quality of the Lord is fearlessness. So by engaging in the devotional service, we develop that quality of fearlessness. This stage of dependence is called Sattva Samshuddhihi, purification of one's existence. The result of such purification is exhibited in fearlessness. So when we become pure from these material perspectives, the quality what we exhibit is called as fearlessness. Because see, how when I think I am this body, when I am engrossed in this bodily perspective, which is temporary, I become fearful because any moment this body can go away from me. But when I come to the platform that I am spirit soul, which is eternal, which has no birth, no death, the moment I realize that I am fearless, I become absolutely into the spiritual platform. So that is what is explained here. The devotee should show mercy to the fallen souls and also give them the assurance of fearlessness. So when we go to somebody, what can we preach to them when somebody passes away? You go. You try to console them. What should we say? Should we make them more cry? Or we should give them the strength to face the situation? What should we do? Huh? Yes, because we are all struggling. Today it is his ticket, tomorrow it will be my ticket. Nobody is assured of permanentness here. So don't hanker for this material perspectives. We should give them, we have to face the situation. We should give them the strength to handle these circumstances. So giving that strength, giving them the assurance is fearless. That's what devotees does to people in general. As soon as one becomes a devotee of the Lord, he is convinced that he is protected by the Lord. Avasya Rakshibe Krishna. Vishwashera Palana. This is one of the confidence of the devotee. Krishna is there to protect me. In what way he will protect me? That is left to him. I cannot put condition. And this Vishwasa Palana, this is, I have to follow this principle with Manasa Vacha Karmana. To award fearlessness to the common man is the greatest act of charity. What is the best dana one can do? To award fearlessness to the living entity. So this is the greatest dana what one can do. It is the duty of the superior to give fearlessness to the subordinate. To take charge of someone, either as father, mother, spiritual master, relative or husband, one must accept the responsibility to give his word freedom from the fearful situation of material existence. Like Arjuna, when he became fearful of the consequences of the war, he surrendered to Lord Krishna. And what did Lord Krishna do? He gave him that knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and made him fearless to the situation. So whenever we are in anxiety, the simple thing is surrender to the superiors. And it is the duty of the superior to give me assurance and to give me fearlessness. The surrender souls are called as Akutobhaya. They are doubtless and fearless. And their entrance to the spiritual kingdom is guaranteed. The devotees are fearless and always joyful because they are constantly engaged in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord. So how do they get that fearlessness? Because of constant absorption under the lotus feet of the Lord. Sharanagata Vatsala, the Lord is called as the maintainer of the surrendered souls. By practicing Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga, one becomes fearless and joyful. Unless one becomes fearless and joyful, he cannot understand the science of God. So why it is important to become fearless and joyful? To practice Bhakti Yoga, We cannot understand the Lord. You have to understand the Lord means you have to come to His platform. How do we rise to His platform? By engaging in devotional service, by becoming fearless, by becoming joyful. Generally, people think that simply by executing occupational duty, one becomes fearless or securely attains liberation. But factually, unless all these occupational duties are accompanied by bhakti yoga, one cannot become fearless. Just by being my material duties, it is not possible for me to become fearless. Only by devotion service one can become fearless. I have to do my prescribed duty and engage in devotional service of the Lord, then I will become fearless. A devotee knows that after death he is going back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, he has no fear of death. Thus, instead of depressing a devotee, advanced age helps him become fearless and thus happy. As the days progresses, he knows, because he is sincerely engaging in devotional service, he knows Lord will take care of me. I am assured wherever I am, I will continue my devotional service. So he does not become fearful of his situation. He will not become fearful of death. In that way, he handles or he faces the situation. Now, about this influence of time and other perspectives. Next perspective is how Jiva could understand others' thoughts, how Brahma could understand what is happening. So, in a Vishnu Purana, some of the references are given. They say, Prag Vasana Nibandhanam Bandhanam cha Vimuktaye Tasmad Vidi Tad Amcham Stan Sarvamsham Tam Ajam Prabhum. So, know that all living entities are part and parcels of the unborn Supreme Lord. Vidhi Tam Amsham Tad Ajam Prabhum. Everybody is an Amsha of the Lord. We are all part and parcels of the Lord. By knowing that, Prag Vasana Nibandhanam, when the individual soul trapped by their own past material desires, Nibandhanam, Prag Vasana, it is because of our past Vasanas, and we come to this material world, Sarvamsham Tam Bandhanam Cha Vimuktaye, the Supreme Lord follows them to set them free. Because we are struggling in this material world, the Lord associates with us in this life as Paramatma, and He makes us free from that all the unwanted association what we have developed in the past life by giving us safe and security guidance for us. Bhutatma Chendriyatma cha Pradhanatma tata bhavan Atma cha Paramatma cha Tamekam Panchadasitaha. So how the Lord gives assurance to the living entity, He expands Himself into 5 forms, it seems. The Supreme Lord, it is said, He is Bhutatma, He is the soul of all gross elements. Cha Indriyatma, He is the soul of all material senses. Pradhanatma, He is the soul of all Pradhana elements. Then Tata, Atma cha Paramatma cha, He is the soul, He is the super soul. Tvameka Panchata Stitaha. The Supreme Lord, He is situated in these 5 forms in this material world. So that's why when He is situated in everything, He knows what is happening in everything. So in that way, He will be able to reveal that information to the pure devotee, what is happening in this world, what is happening in somebody's heart, or how the situations will be resulting in. Because He is spread in this entire universe. In every atom, to every perspective, it is He who is managing this universe. So in that way, the Lord reveals that information to His pure devotees. So in one more purport, Prabhupada explains in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is the constant companion of the living entity as super soul, and therefore He can understand the desires of the individual soul as one can smell the fragrance of a flower by being near it. So desire is a subtle form of conditioning for the living entity. So whenever a living entity desires, the Paramatma who is there next to him can immediately smell that desire. So in that way, the Lord becomes aware of what is happening, what the living entity wants. So in that way, he will be able to communicate to the pure devotee what others are able to think, because he is able to smell that desire. Like when we are going on the road, different aromas will attract us. So when you are going through some scent shop, various fragrances will come. When you are passing a garbage, you will get some foul smell. When you are passing through some mithai shop, various sweets, savory smell will come. When you are going through some chip shop, somebody is frying outside some banana chips or something. You see different fragrances you will be able to feel. Close your eyes, you will be able to perceive what that fragrance is. You will be roughly able to estimate what the item is being communicated or sold there. So if in a nearby vicinity, if you are able to understand what is going on, the Lord is there next to us. Can't he understand what I am desiring? So in that way, he will be able to communicate to the living entity who is pure, so that they can know aware of what is happening in other living entities. That's why Brahma was addressed in that perspective here. So then one more place, this is explained in Padma Purana in one context. See, only in Bhagavatam we see pure devotional perspectives. In other Puranas, it will be mostly karma siddhanta they explain. Bhakti based on karma siddhanta. You have become this because of your past life this. Like that they give experience. Sometimes it could be incidences which would have happened in some other universe, some other time frame, some other day of Brahma. So in that way, we cannot say that it happened right now with this perspective. It could be of different timelines they can speak. Because Puranas are from time immemorial. So they could give information related to various other universes also. Need not be that it has to happen here only. So when Krishna, this is when Pandavas have lost the gambling match. So they lost all their properties. They were insulted. Their wife was tried to be disrobed. Draupadi was tried to be disrobed. And finally it came to a conclusion. 13 years they have to go to exile. 12 years of Aranyavasa, 1 year of Ajnatavasa. If anything, if they are identified again within that Ajnatavasa, again they have to continue the cycle of 13 years. So now when they are in the forest, they came to Kamyavana. So when they are there, Lord Krishna had visited them. So seeing the Pandavas in such a situation where they were kings, emperor, who had done Rajasuya Yajna, seeing in the forest, he was also little disturbed that his pure devotees have come to that state. But Pandavas were very happy because they could have association of the Lord. Lord was thinking of them, came to meet them. Pandavas were very excited. So they gave Lord Krishna a seat, and after explaining all the Kushala Prashna, then they had started putting inquiry, and Lord Krishna started answering to these circumstances. So Krishna spoke to Arjuna and other Pandavas by saying, can you understand why you people are suffering here? And why Draupadi Devi had to be disrobed by Dushyasana? Why all this would have occurred? So Krishna starts giving reason what was the problem. He said last time when there was a Purushottama Masa, Adhika Masa, whatever we say, you Pandavas have neglected its performance. So because of that which you had to lose your kingdom, you had to lose your appearances, and you are all in this forest struggling for this system. So you have been following the ritualistic principles given to you by Vyasadeva, but unless you engage in Purushottama worship, you cannot perform pure devotional service to me. So now I will explain to you the famous history of Draupadi, how she got 5 husbands, and why she had to face the situation of being disrobed by Dushyasana in the open assembly. So in her previous birth, Draupadi was the daughter of a great sage by name Medhavi. So when she was small, her mother passed away. So her father took care of her. So as she was growing day by day into a youthful lady, she was very beautiful. But her father was not interested in getting her married. Seeing her close friends and girlfriends getting married, and they were happily enjoying with their husbands and young children, she was passing her life very miserably. It so happened in the process, her father also passed away. So, but because he was a devotee of the Lord, he went back home, back to Godhead because of his sincerity. The girl became even more miserable, nobody to take care, no father, no mother, no husband, nobody to give protection. So when great sage Durvasa Muni, coming to know that his friend, dear friend Medhavi has passed away, he came to his ashrama. So there he saw this girl. So he she offered him respect. She made him sit on an asana, gave him some water, gave him some mat. Then after worshipping him with the hospitality, so the sage, as a matter of fact, was inquiring from her, how are you? Because she is of his daughter's age, friend's daughter. So it's a concern because nobody is there to her protection. That girl began to speak, oh my dear saint, you know everything, past, present and future. I have no shelter, I have no relatives, my parents passed away, I have no brother, I am unmarried and therefore there is no husband to protect me. Please do something, please help me, please give me some advice to relieve me from this miserable condition. So after listening to her prayer, Durvasa began to consider the unfortunate situation of that girl and he wanted to show mercy to her. So he began to speak to her, oh my dear daughter, 3 months from now, there is this most auspicious month called as Purushottama, which is very dear to Lord Krishna. Just by taking bath early in the morning, one can become pure and sinless. And this month is more glorious than all other months. And by engaging in tapasya, and by engaging in japa, and by engaging in devotional service, one becomes very dear to the Lord in this month. So perform these activities, purify your consciousness, and strictly worship the seva. And very soon, Lord will reveal to you, Lord will give you the auspicious blessings to you, what you are expecting for. But after speaking these words, Durvasa became silent. But that young girl, she did not believe in the words. She became angry and started blaspheming. Oh great sage, how can you lie to me? How can this extra month, which is known as Malamasa, be superior to all other months? I cannot believe your words. You are trying to cheat me. This extra month is known as most abominable for any kind of pious activity. So when that innocent or foolish girl, when she started speaking like this, Durvasa became angry. And we know when Durvasa becomes angry, he will curse us. But feeling compassionate, because she is an innocent lady, she is already suffering because of nobody to take care of her in a compromised situation. He is saying, oh unfortunate one, I am not going to curse you because your father was a good friend of mine. You are in a helpless situation. Being in an ignorant situation, you cannot understand the glories of this month, which are glorified in the Shastras. So I am not going to take your words as seriously as offensive to me, but at the same time, I cannot and should not tolerate your offenses towards this Purushottam Masa. You will, in your next life, you will certainly reap the results of your offensive words. Saying that, Durvasa Muni left from that area. So as soon as he left, because she had offended the great personality, he has not taken the offense, but because of which her beauty, her bodily luster, everything started fading away. She started becoming ugly from youth to beautiful personality. She started becoming ugly personality. So with no shelter, she finally started worshipping Lord Shiva. She started performing great austerities to please Lord Shiva. So after performing austerities for 9,000 years, like sitting in midst of fire in the summer, then in winter season, getting into the water up to the neck and engaging in tapasya there. So Lord Shiva, by her severe austerities, became very satisfied and pleased, and he appeared before her. And he said, my dear girl, what benediction do you want? So she started offering prayers. At the end of each prayer, she said, I want a glorious husband. So that prayer had 5 verses, and in each prayer there is saying, I want a glorious husband. So after hearing her prayers, Lord Shiva blessed her by saying, yes, tadastu. But he said, because 5 times you prayed for me, you wanted a husband, you will get 5 husbands. She said, no, tuch, I don't want this, take it back. But Lord Shiva said, once it is done, I cannot take it back. Then she said, is there any circumstance where one woman having 5 husbands, I'll become a laughing stock in the universe. Then he assured, no, it will be as destiny has already decided, and you will become a special personality by identifying that your chastity will be glorified. And the girl became very remorseful because Lord had assured, Lord Shiva had assured her she had to accept that situation very soon. She had to quit her body, and she passed away. So the next life she took birth as Drupada's daughter, Draupadi, and circumstantially she had to get married to all the 5 Pandavas. And why? Because she had offended Purushottam Manta and she had offended Durvasamani, a Vaishnava, a great personality. So she had to suffer the consequences in the form of Dusyasana trying to disrobe her. This is what Lord Krishna is giving communication. Because you had offended that personality, in this life you had suffered for these consequences. So it is very important how we are attentive in the process. So me being advanced in the process, not to offend other personalities in the process. So we have to be very careful. And Pandavas also, because on the instruction of the Lord, they worshipped the next Purushottam Manta very sincerely and seriously, that they were able to become victorious in the war, Kurukshetra war, and they regained their kingdom. It says, Evam sarveshu tirteshu brahmantaha pandunandanaha. So they roamed all the Sarva tirteshu, and Pandunandanaha, the sons of Pandu. Purushottama masadya vratam cherur vidanataha. As per the rules and regulations, they worshipped the Purushottama Masa, means they worshipped the Supreme Lord sincerely. Tada ante rajyam atulam. At the end, tada ante rajyam atulam. They conquered, they got back their glorious kingdom back. Avapur gata kantakam. And without any obstacles. Kantakam means like thorns in the process. So all that obstacles have been cleansed off. They got back their kingdom. Purne Chaturdashe Varshe Shri Krishna Krupayaya Mune. Oh my dear sage, by the mercy of Lord Krishna, after 14 years they were able to get back, because 13 years is the situation. Almost after that 1 year they had to wait for the mediations, and other things had gone. Almost 9 months that mediation process has gone. So then they had fought all these things. Almost 14 years. The day they were sent to forest, it almost took 14 years for them to reclaim their kingdom. Because by the mercy of the Lord, they were able to perform these activities by worshipping the Purushottam Masa, and they got back their kingdom. So this is the perspective. Then one more thing is, recently, every day we keep getting in social media, everybody starts sending some messages by saying, ISKCON exposed, so-and-so exposed. What is that exposure? Are you trying to make us Nanga? What is that exposure means? People don't understand Vedic perspectives. See, when anything spirituality is there, it's like I go to a tree has many fruits. I pluck one fruit which is unripened or which is spoiled fruit. I taste that fruit. Because it is spoiled or unripened, it will not be the sweet, it will not be the thing what I expect. Now I claim the entire tree is worst tree, it will produce only useless fruits. Is it correct? Is my judgment correct? So, or I see some personality who might not be mature in his understanding, or somebody is in one context, they will say something, they bring it out of context and they blow it in a different proportion, and they say the entire institution is like that. That is a foolish way of thinking. If I have to blame somebody, if I am pointing finger at somebody, you have to understand 3 fingers are pointing at me. I have to see what I am first. Now, outside world, when we see in the name of religiosity, people don't follow their systems. Our own culture, nobody follows. When we go to, when there are so many traditional temples, why there are no next generation of their own families not taking care of their temples? We are sacrificing everything for the service of the Lord. Because Shastra says birthright is not the basis for us. You got a favorable opportunity, you don't engage in devotional service, and you criticize somebody who has left everything and engaging in devotional service. So people should be clear whom to follow, whom not to follow. So we should be very clear, we should be properly presenting our glorious values. So criticizing each other, it is like that trap philosophy. Somebody is trying to climb up, pull him down. This is merely out of enviousness. Somebody is becoming popular, better than us. We have taken birth in glorious families, but they are becoming better than us. What is the use? Taking birth. Everybody takes birth. Janmana jayate shudra, we are all. By birth we are all shudras only. Samskarat bhaved vijaha. We become samskar. Only by reformation we develop to that highest qualities. So we have to be very clear in our presentation. We have to represent the authority. We have to represent the acharyas properly. Then everything, people will, common man who is seeing, he will understand. Or else they can be fooled one time, two times, not all the times. So we have to be very careful. Let us not offend somebody. Let us bring out all the good qualities in everybody. Like we should be like a honeybee. We should take best of everywhere. We should not be like a fly to take only the bad things everywhere and bring out only bad perspective in our consciousness. So I'll stop here. Any questions or doubts?
You were explaining from Karma Kanda perspective, incidents that went through Pandavas and Draupadi. Like we hear from Prabhupada that Pandavas and Draupadi are eternal associates of the Lord, goddess of fortune. So how do we, two aspects of the same pastime, how do we investigate? If they are eternal associates, 9,000 years, Rahasyam, Draupadi, so all this will be.
So that's why first itself I clarified it could be from some other universe. Like Vyasadeva, in one context I was reading one sloka, where it says, Aham veti shuko vyeti vyasa vetina vetiva. I know Bhagavatam, Lord Shiva is saying. Shukadeva Goswami knows Bhagavatam. Vyasa may or may not know Bhagavatam. How it is possible? He is the compiler of Bhagavatam. And Lord Shiva is saying he may not know Bhagavatam. How to understand this? So Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj says, Vyasadeva is a post. So anybody qualified can sit on that post. Material qualified people. So when they sit on that post, what Vyasadeva is doing, whatever he has been hearing, he will put it into writing. So while writing, he is not contemplating what he is writing. But here, this time, whatever Vyasadeva we have, he is an incarnation of the Lord. Krishna Dvaipayan. So when he wanted to put it into writing, he went into meditation. That 1.7.4, it clearly says, Bhakti Yogena Manasi Samyak Pranahite Amale. He went into meditation, he saw the absolute personality of Godhead, he understood what is Maya, he understood what is Supreme Lord, he understood why the jivas are suffering here. Then he wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam under perfect realization. So in that way, in some other Dwapar Yuga where Vyasadeva may not be as qualified as like the current Vyasadeva, at that time he may not know the intention of why he is writing what he is writing in that Bhagavatam. So in that way, he may not come to the conclusions of Bhagavatam. He may write Bhagavatam, but he may not know the absolute conclusions of Bhagavatam. Like that. So sometimes some personalities will have 2-3 people. Like in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see Ramananda Raya. Ramananda Raya had influence of 3 personalities, it says. He is Pandava also, Arjuna. He is Lalita also. He is Vishaka also. Now whom should I see? How should I see him? According to the circumstance, according to the mentality, what he is exhibiting, so you can see him in that personality is dominating at that time. So sometimes the carryover of all the past lives, like them, some of the associates of Yadu dynasty, we also they are demigod representation. Sometimes they exhibited the demigod tendencies of getting carried over. So like that, this one also. It could be of this universe, or it could be of some other universe, or it could be of some other time frame. So Padma Purana, when it is saying, it did not say which happened recently. It quoting and circumstances.
Say that Pandava, the incarnations of some demigods like that.
Their amshas are present in that body, it is said. Like when Dharmaraja, Yudhishthira, he is that Dharmaraja's Avesha, he was there. Like that. It could be two personalities like that. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki జగద్గురు శీల ప్రభుపాద్ కి నితాయ్ గౌర్ ప్రేమను.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణ వాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణవాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 9133107700.